Hello, it's Sahni here, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Head of Media at Queensbury Promotions, licensed ring announcer, and the man who is behind the best boxing show on YouTube right now in the lockdown lowdown, Sahni. Firstly, Dev, thank you for coming onto the channel, and how have you been keeping during lockdown?
I'm good. I think wife aside, that's probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. So thanks, Sammy. Yeah, no worries coming on. Happy to do an interview with you. How's lockdown treating me? Pretty good. From personally, I quite like being locked down. I don't really like talking to people, and not in person. I like doing it over the phone and over camera and stuff. So yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
And of course, as I mentioned, you are doing the lockdown lowdown, so you are interviewing boxers, Frank Warren, onto the Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions YouTube channel. How have you found that, during lockdown? Is that almost just giving you something to do, something to focus on?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to talk to the different fighters, see what they're up to, kind of thing. And sometimes you can build sort of storylines and narratives out of it. Like the other week, we was doing a Q&A with Frank Warren, and there was a question that came in saying, would Frank put Daniel Dubois in with Deontay Wilder?
Yeah.
Frank said yes. I don't think Frank's going to really say no to that, because he's not going to sort of show any weakness. This is his man that he's backing. So Frank, of course, says yes in a couple of fights. That blows up into a bit of a news story saying, oh, Frank wants to put Daniel Dubois in with Deontay Wilder. Then Daniel Dubois follows up saying, yeah, I'd knock him out. Because, of course, he's going to say he'd knock him out. But things like that just sort of start spiraling. So it's been good. It's been good sort of being in the engine room and becoming a bit of a news source.
And when you're interviewing, Frank Warren or multiple fighters of the Queensbury stable, is there one fighter that you maybe look forward to interviewing, or one person that you almost look forward to because you know that they're going to give you a good conversation, a good chat?
Do you know what? I like speaking to Tommy Fury. I really like that. He's he can't lie. He's just so honest and upfront, and he's a good chat. He just comes out with some stuff as well. And some, like he was just saying, yep, I've been watching all the shows on Sky in lockdown. And I was like, BT? And he's just, he just ignored me. I was like, okay, all good. But yeah, he's good. He's funny. I like speaking to a lot of the guys. I think the best lockdown lowdown aside, the best interview I've ever done, and the one that I enjoyed the most, was John Fury.
Yeah.
The guy's just a legend, and again, like his son, he can't lie. He just can't help but tell you exactly what he thinks. And that was a raw and honest interview. Check it out. Just type in John Fury. Yeah. Good man.
And when you're interviewing these boxers or Frank Warren, as mentioned, is there, like, when you're interviewing them, you've got almost like a different style to a normal interviewer, it's more unique. Is that important for you to, like, make the boxer at ease or the fighter at ease, because you just want them to have like a normal chat? It's not like something that's been almost forced.
Definitely. I've got to, if I've got a good pre-existing relationship with the fighter and I know they can have a bit of a laugh, I'll make a joke, something to sort of make them laugh straight away. Like for Cole Frampton, who I did the other week, he was a great interview as well. What did I say? It was something along the lines of, it's not every day you get to speak to a national treasure, someone loved by everyone, a living legend, but today Carl Frampton gets his chance. And it was just a stupid joke to start it off, and it starts it off in a good sort of vibe, and it's an easy interview. But I don't know if I'd make that joke at the very start with Frank Warren. That's a bit more serious, and then you see and feel how it goes.
And just taking it back for you, how did you get into this world of media and boxing? Because it's a bit of a frenzy and it's crazy at times. So how did you fall into it, or was it something that was almost planned for you and you wanted to get into this path? So
I always really liked boxing. I had jobs in online marketing. It was fine. Working for like train companies and within travel. And one day I just speculatively sent my CV to Box Nation, just saying, this is my CV, and it was a really good CV. Not necessarily because of all the experience, just the layout. I'd made it like a YouTube homepage kind of thing with my face kind of pointing like that. It was quite cheesy, to be honest, but it will get your attention. So I sent a speculative CV saying I'd love to work for you, and didn't hear anything, thought nothing of it. Actually got a new job in the time somewhere else. I was there for a couple of months, and suddenly Box Nation came calling, saying we've got this role. Would you be interested? I was like, definitely. So jumped through a few hoops, did an interview, and got a job as digital manager at Box Nation. That was back in 2014, and that's how it all started. So, yeah.
Was there something that made you gravitate towards boxing and the medial side of boxing? Because it's not like a normal sport, because you can almost get closer access to fighters. You form relationships with these people that you can't do with most sports. Is that what made you almost gravitate towards it?
I mean, the media side of it just sort of happened for me. As I say, my background is in online marketing. I was helping run ad campaigns to try to get people to buy train tickets. My job that I got at Box Nation was to improve the website, help with online marketing, and manage a few digital projects. It then just spiraled into more and more stuff, and basically every opportunity that was presented with me, I just said, yeah, I'll do it. Even if I didn't think I could do it or didn't necessarily know how to do it, I'd just say yes and trust myself to figure it out. In terms of the boxing media side of it, it's great because the fighters are very accessible, most of them anyway, and you can just sort of pick up the phone and sort things out with them. It's a good world to be in. It has its pros and cons though, because you've got say we run these press conferences, and suddenly you've got someone just on their phone interviewing a top tier talent kind of guy, and this guy may have jumped the queue and got in front of someone who's got hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers, but just because this guy's got there first with his phone. So it needs a bit of policing at times, but it's good. The accessibility is good and bad in ways.
And for you, why have you sticked around since 2014? Has there ever been a moment where you thought maybe I'll divert and go somewhere else and work somewhere else, or choose a different career path?
Not really, because the best jobs you can have is when it doesn't feel like it's a job. So most of the time, I'm lucky enough to say that it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like a sort of extension of my life, and it's a passion. So you find yourself Saturday night, instead of doing fun stuff, you think you are doing fun stuff because you're editing a video to put out on YouTube, and you're like, oh cool, this is going to go out, and it doesn't really feel like work because you're happy doing it. I haven't really given much thought to leaving.
And discussing boxing right now, if you had a gun to your head, when do you think it would probably return? Because obviously it's so unpredictable, you wouldn't be able to give like a definite date. But in your opinion?
So if someone put a gun to my head and asked me when boxing would return, I'd probably ask them to remove the gun. Just to take the gun away, because I'm not giving you an answer. But I think the board are talking about June, aren't they? June, July. You can only go by that, really. Me giving my opinion doesn't mean anything. I guess it's going to be in the next couple of months.
And when just sitting at home, during the lockdown, has it been odd having no sports? Because I know you're a Manchester United fan as well. Having no football as well as boxing, is it almost been like a time to step back away from the sports?
Again, for me, I found myself really, really busy in lockdown. One of the first things I did anyway, I just cancelled my Sky Sports because I knew there wasn't going to be any football on. So nip that in the bud. You're not gonna get me on that. I haven't. Because I've been interviewing the fighters, because we've been putting out archive stuff and trying to keep boxing relevant kind of thing, it's kept me really busy. I haven't really had much time to step back and think, I wonder if Man United are gonna finish 4-4 or whatever. It's just kind of happened. Football's gonna come back. It's all gonna come back. It's just a little pause.
And right now, obviously, boxing, as well as football, to be honest, is a hugely fan-driven sport. And they're talking about behind closed doors or fights maybe in studios. Do you think that it will hold the same interest because it's such a sport that is based on the fans and the atmosphere? How do you almost keep that in a fight behind closed doors?
I think ultimately it's going to get back to being in front of crowds, and boxing will work towards that in the same way UFC will work towards that. But in the interim, where it is behind closed doors stuff, I think fans will be happy with it, and that there's extra layers of intrigue. There's being able to hear fighters breathe when they're getting tired. There's being able to hear body shots, which maybe you won't hear as well. There's been able to hear fighters grimace. And amazing clip in the UFC the other night where one fighter got on top of the other, who's giving him like whatever he was doing from behind, and he said to him something like, "Sorry, bro, it's just business."
Yeah.
And the guy underneath went, "Yeah, it is what it is." You can hear these guys talk. So imagine that if you got Dennis McCann out there goading one of these guys and he starts calling them names or whatever, you can actually hear what he's saying. I think there's a whole new layer to this, and it's up to the promoters, it's up to the TV companies to make the most of it. It's not going to be like it forever, so let's have fun with it. Let's see what we can do.
And the fights that were scheduled to take place during this period of lockdown, Daniel Dubois against Joe Joyce and Anthony Yarde against Lyndon Arthur as well. When you're seeing these fights, for you, firstly, I just wanted to ask, are you completely halfway split down the middle for Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce?
Yeah, I think that's the sort you have to say. I know both guys anyway, so and the same with Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur. It is tricky. Not as tricky for me as it is for someone like Frank Warren, who's he's the face of it and promoting both guys. But yeah, I got to play it completely down the line on the night. If I'm allowed to go to the show, but on the night I would be, in Daniel Dubois' dressing room doing little videos for social media. The same with Joe Joyce. I'll be around Martin Bowers, Dubois' coach, Sam Jones, and all of those guys, and all of Joyce's team as well. So you certainly can't be seen to be picking sides. You got to make sure no one thinks that.
Do you find that difficult in any way? Sometimes that you find that maybe there's a favourite or someone that you might prefer. Do you ever find it difficult that you just have to keep it completely unbiased and through the middle?
I don't find it difficult really. I think I'll tell you the one time where I've had one fighter's camp saying, "Oh, you all prefer the other guy," was Lee Selby, Selby's camp, and I think that was against Josh Warrington. I mean, that was just. At the time, I think actually Frank promoted both fighters, but it was obvious, Josh Warrington was the guy that he got. He took him to Elland Road, all of this and all of that. And I remember Lee Selby's camp in Fight Week saying, "How come you guys aren't putting out much content about us and things like that?" And they were kind of suggesting the bias. But I mean, with that one, it was a bit obvious, wasn't it? I mean, he's the guy, and we're not going to Barry Island for the fight. We are going to Elland Road.
And when you're going to these fights, and reporting and covering these fights, do you ever feel like, just like almost like pinch yourself when you're doing it, because you're getting access that no usual fans and people covering the fights won't even get, but because you're in the position you're in, you're getting different exclusive access? Yeah,
there are some real pinch yourself moments there where you feel like you're part of history. So yeah, it is great. You do feel privileged. I'll tell you where I do feel the most privileged is obviously a big knockout is great to see, but things like Windsor Park, where we had Tyson Fury, Carl Frampton, Paddy Barnes a couple of years back, and going from backstage to ringside and walking past all the fans, both sides, you sort of get a taste of what it's actually like to be the fighter. These are sort of unforgettable memories, seeing all the fans around and all the noise they're creating, and they start singing, and you're doing that walk as well. obviously no one's there sort of cheering for you, although you can pretend all you like, but yeah, they're not. But yeah, that's good. You do have pinch yourself moments.
And as I mentioned, you have obviously announced fighters coming out in the ring, and of course you've done your weigh-ins as well. Is that something that you have a real passion for as well? Is that something that you want to do more of?
I mean, not particularly. Not the ring announcer side. That was a strange thing how it all came about. I think they were holding a weigh-in for a show at the Brentwood Centre. It was in the old Box Nation days. It was a little show, and they were holding the weigh-in at the office, and they just asked me to do it, just to read it out. But I did it with a little bit more than just reading it. I was like trying to give it a little bit, calling Bradley Skeet the pride of Penge and all of this stuff, building it up a bit. And then they just asked me to do it a couple more times at Weighins, told me I should get my license. Got my license, but yeah, I did a couple of shows. One was televised, but it's not the real passion, because you meet someone like Thomas Treiber, and for me, he's amazing. And then he tells me his stories about how he got into it, and all the nights sleeping in his car, driving up and down the country and all that. And I just thought, look, I could never do that for this. And I haven't really got the strong enough voice. I can give it all the pizzazz, but it's not a voice for announcing. It's a voice for talking like this, sure. But I don't know. I can't see myself taking it any further other than when I'm needed to.
And Dev, just wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for people that are trying to get into this media world of boxing or sports overall?
Yeah, just keep trying. Don't take no for an answer. And yeah, just keep building up your contacts. Work really hard, and if you want it enough, it will happen. Just going back to my thing about how I got into Box Nation, I sent that CV. And I didn't hear anything, and I didn't think anything of it. But it was like 6 months later that they got in touch. So it hit. So just because you don't hear back straight away doesn't mean nothing's going to happen to you. Try and leave an impression. Make good eye contact with everyone you meet. Make sure you know their name. Make sure they know your name. And yeah.
Well, Dev, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming onto the channel. All of Dev's links will be in the description below: Twitter, Instagram, the Lockdown Lowdown, Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions YouTube channel. Everything will be down below, and remember to check it out. Thank you for your time again. Remember to like the video, subscribe, share the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and see you.
Thanks, Sammy. Good man. See you later, mate.